in the wee hours of Wednesday, November 9th, that he would be the president of all Americans, not just those who supported him. I think they'll give him a chance to form his government.
Do you think that that was the message he sent out through the entirety of the campaign?
What, that he be the president of all Americans? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's who he's going to be. He said it when he was elected,
No, but I meant during the campaign, given things that he said and did during the campaign, which, I mean, part of the reason that Steve Bannon became something of a controversy when he was brought in was because it seemed to dovetail with some of the things that Trump had said during the campaign on issues of race or religion or, constitutionality, those kinds of things. So
I've got a question. I've been in the campaign since the beginning till the end. And what specific instances are you referring to about what he said about race and religion?
we're talking about the Muslim ban. We're talking about what he said about Mexicans in that opening.
Illegal immigrants is what he was
Mexico
speaking
as a country.
The idea
No,
that
Judge Curiel couldn't do his job because he
of
was
his Mexican
Mexican heritage.
Even though he was from Indiana?
I mean, we can go through the list, but I mean, it's not as though there weren't moments in the campaign where he created controversy having to do with race or gender or religion.
But Dan, can we?
But how does that affect? But Steve Bannon, your question was about Steve Bannon.
Well, because he was. Because
I mean, you're trying to dovetail the two things. So when Donald Trump said something in January, February, March, April, whenever, had nothing to do with the smear campaign of the left on Steve Bannon today. Okay, and well, it's ridiculous. And to be candid with you, the guy is an unbelievably brilliant strategist who is really a terrific guy who, as Kellyanne just said, a guy who has a Harvard pedigree and is getting attacked by people who have no idea who he is.
Wait, hold on. Okay. No,
well, I mean, we happen to be sitting here, but listen, he gets held to a standard that none of these other folks.
Well, let me.
If providing a platform for white supremacists makes me a brilliant tactician, I am glad to have lost. And give me a minute, David. I am more proud of Hillary Clinton's all right speech than any other moment on the campaign because she had the courage to stand up. I would rather lose than win the way you guys did.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes.
That's very clear today. No, you wouldn't, respectfully. Rather, I'm sorry, how exactly did we win? No, go for it, Jen. How exactly did we win? I'd like to know because I've sacrificed the last 4 months of my life to do it. Excuse me. And we did it. And we did it by looking at the schedule and looking at, yes, the electoral map of 270, because that's how you win the presidency. And we went places and we were either ignored or mocked roundly by most of the people in this room, but I have a smile on my face at all times. And we did it by focusing with Steve Bannon and Dave Bossie and everybody you see here. They're going to say, oh, she just said Corey was part of the campaign. Jeff Zucker. Okay, Corey until what was that, June? And we focus on how you win. We connected with voters. We connected with voters.
Hiring is himself. We've already gone through some of the examples of his own language, his own positions that I believe are at odds with my value as an American of embracing diversity, inclusivity, equality. And hiring someone like Steve Bannon,
which is exactly what Breitbart
who would Breitbart.
If you guys just spend a few minutes on Breitbart,
give these people a platform.
You say things doesn't make it true.
One of my proudest moments of her is her standing up and saying with courage and clarity, in Steve Bannon's own words and Donald Trump's own words, the platform that they gave to white supremacists, white nationalists, and it is a very important moment in our history as our country. And I think as his presidency goes forward, I'm going to be very glad to have been part of the campaign that tried to.
Jen, do you think that excuse me, she said white supremacists.
Well, I would actually like to follow up.
I know it's mentioned a lot on your website too. Do you think I ran a campaign where white supremacists had a platform? You going to look me in the face and tell me that?
It did. Kellyanne
really?
did.
Oh, and that's how you lost?
It did.
Do you think you could have just had a decent message for the white working class voters? Do you think this woman who has nothing in common with anybody?
I'm not saying that's why you won, but that's
these
kind
counties
of campaign
we
that was
flipped
run.
Over 200 counties that President Obama won and Donald Trump just won. You think that's because of what you just said, or because people aren't ready for a woman president? Really? How about it's Hillary Clinton? She doesn't connect with people. How about they have nothing in common with her? How about you had no economic message?
Guys,
conversation about what happened in this campaign.
We are. You guys are not.
They want this to be about a strategist. That's right.
You guys are punching down. It's unbelievable.
You know who you're talking about. One Steve Bannon. Well, there's another Steve Bannon as the CEO of Breitbart. He himself has said that was a platform for the alt-right. Folks from the platform. Now, you had just 2 weeks ago, in the rise of the alt-right, which is now part of the mainstream of our politics, America is for white people. So don't tell me, and that is the kind of platform, there's a video of it. That is the
No. Prove
platform.
yourself what you just said, Karen. Prove yourself. Okay? Prove yourself. The alt-right is the mainstream American politics.
No, I said now they've come to the mainstream. Part of what Donald Trump did in this campaign was to mainstream the alt-right.
You're just wrong.
I actually have a
Bringing
question
Steve
about that
Bannon
specifically for the Clinton campaign,
By bringing
which
Steve
is
Bannon into the campaign and now appointing him to the White House and Jeff Sessions potentially as our Attorney General, you have had
Karen,
leaders of the
you guys are
alt-right-
bitter.
I have a very
leaders of the
specific question
alt-right
about the
say-
alt-right, which
I've been
is
trying to be very gracious. You're bitter.
Alt-right say that they see Donald Trump as their standard bearer, as their guy, and now we've arrived.
So
are you telling them that's not
here's
true?
Can I
Yes,
just
not true.
Kellyanne, may I ask
Absolutely
them a
not
question,
true.
please? So one question that we did have, there was a bit
Dan.
of a debate. The alt-right is a real thing. Steve Bannon has said that. That's true. But it was a fairly obscure movement. And there has been a debate about whether Hillary Clinton naming them this summer, did that give elevation? And just in the sense that, obviously I would anticipate that you might say you were responding, which is a fair thing to say. But was that a concern with the campaign that you were elevating something that was fairly obscure into the mainstream dialogue?
And did the comment about the basket of deplorables provide energy to the Trump campaign down the stretch of the election?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, their error with the basket of deplorables, their candidates' errors were much more important than any one person that you want to smear today.
I'm sorry.
I
We're
know,
not trying to
I know.
smear anybody. You say
No,
let's
you
talk
are.
the truth. No, let me say something, David, without interrupting me. I haven't interrupted anybody on your panel the whole day.
Except me.
Steve Bannon said he created Breitbart created the platform for the alt-right. We have seen Richard Spencer have a group of followers in Washington, D.C., giving the Nazi salute during his speech about that. When you ask Kellyanne about what did Donald Trump say, I'm waiting for someone here to tell me who you're taking the country back from. Is it my grandparents who came here 2 generations ago? I'm trying to figure out who that message was for. Was it for the people in the
tried all that.
Was it Kelly, I'm not trying to relitigate it, but if you want to, no, I am not.
You're certainly not being analytical.
I am certainly being analytical. Across the 6 key battleground states, the large ones that we contested.
Well, we saw 14. The problem is we saw 14 battleground states. You saw 6.
There was 6 where the tipping point states
14.
were. Fine, Kelly. We know we started with 14 across Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio,
ended with 14.
Pennsylvania, Florida, and North Carolina.
We
In
won
each of
all of
those
them.
states, that's right, and you did. And I have said from the beginning, you won the campaign. But if we're talking about the history of the campaign, there were dog whistles sent out to people. And in those states, 20 to 31% of people said that they believe minorities are favored in this country, that's how the country works. Donald Trump won those people by 6-1 to 10-1 in each of those states.
Donald Trump
You
also
ever
won
think
more
that it was your
African-American
left-wing
votes.
policies that were driving people to that thought, not some website that no one ever heard about?
Well, a lot of folks have heard about Breitbart, but to Joel's point, from the very beginning of Donald Trump's campaign, he was very clear, and again, I agree with Jen. I am very proud that in our campaign, we would never use those kinds of tactics. He trafficked
you
in
called him a
race
sexist, a racist, a misogynist, xenophobic daily.
in race
And it
baiting
blew
and
back on you
fear-mongering
because
and
it's not an
exploiting people's
aspirational,
economic
optimistic
fears.
message. How in the world did we have a female candidate whose closing arguments were so negative? Where's the uplifting, aspirational, visionary message of Barack Obama or Bill Clinton? The 2 presidents she was trying to succeed. Where was it? It was all about Donald Trump. She was obsessed with Donald Trump.
we're here to-
Obsessed with calling him a racist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, a sexist, and guess where it got you?
And the basket of deplorables.
Message was she's being indicted. I'm going to put her
No.
in jail.
No.
I'm going to lock her up. Really?
Yeah, look at
It
our
was
rallies.
changed.
that
Go
you
look at-
poo-pooed.
go look at
our
your-
rallies
Kellyanne,
and all
look
the
at your
people,
rallies.
All those people, the rallies
He
mattered.
delivered it, and your ad did it every day,
What are you talking
Kellyanne.
about? What are you talking about? His closing message was about bringing jobs